I think knowing Meeting Composer really opens the door for me as an editor. It's definitely the tool that's used by everyone. Hi, my name is Guy Harding. I'm a video editor who's nominated this year for an Emmy for Nikki Glaser, Someday You'll Die, that was cut on Avid Meeting Composer. I think the thing I enjoyed the most about working on this show was probably the comedy and the people that brought that comedy to that team together. So that's everybody from, of course, Nikki, who is very funny, to the showrunner and Chris Convey and David Jammy and all the production team, and Hamish, the director, of course. But the show also was lit amazingly and shot really well. Funnily enough, I got a call around 8:30 in the morning from a fellow nominee who's in the same category as me, James Collett, who called to congratulate me. Of course, I had congratulated him as well. But no, I was surprised because I don't often get nominated for the shows I work on. They do or don't fall into these type of categories, popular or not. So no, obviously it was great. I think the biggest challenge in cutting this show was the fact that typically comedy specials are shot when a comedian is on tour. So a comedian will typically do a very, very similar set night after night after night, and they'll be doing that tour for 6 or 9 months. Whereas in this case, this was a special that Nikki was still writing and practicing and trying new material for. What was hard is that we had 2 shows. We had an afternoon show and an evening show with her. And sometimes she would say a joke in an afternoon show and she may not repeat it in the evening show. So we may only have 1 take of that. But that then also meant that because she was trying out the set for the first time, that her continuity was very, very, very discontinuous. She was changing the cut constantly, and I was then going, I can't get you from there to here, or this position to that pose, because initially HBO and everybody didn't want audience in the cut, which in the end we ended up adding in a few just because we needed to get from A to B. But it was really challenging because she would say, I want to use this joke from night 1 and then use this joke from night 2, and I'm like, visually I don't know where to go because every single pointer and camera in the room is pointing at her. Everything is pointing at her. That's the thing about comedy. It's not like you can cut to some B-roll. But I had a reverse shot that I used frequently, which was good to hide continuity, but it was one of the more challenging shows. But I think the fact that she was constantly rehearsing and trying to get her material better ultimately made it a better special. The tools I use in cutting this show, with the obvious one is multicam, of course. Use it all the time, love it. Can literally use it with my eyes shut. If I'm trimming in multicam, I'll even turn off my monitor so I'm not looking at my timeline, and I'm just conscious, and then the cuts are coming in and you just kind of use the keyboard just to navigate your way around. Another thing I'm obsessed with is stabilizing. The slightest wobble or move on a shot, and I put a stabilizer on it, time up to temp up to time. And if the stabilizer doesn't get it, put region stabilize on it, put that on it, and just pick a square that's solid and let it do the work, and it's amazing. Another feature that I love all the time is asymmetrical trimming, which not many people have heard of. Asymmetrical trimming isn't trimming one side of a shot or another side of a shot. It's trimming like both sides of the shots, almost in both directions. So as much as you're trimming one side to the left, you're trimming the A side to the right. So imagine if you're doing an L cut, it's perfect for something like that because you can trim the video to the right and you can trim the audio to the left and bring the 2 together. I think knowing Meeting Composer really opens the door for me as an editor, because as much as there are other editing programs around, I feel like certainly in my genre, broadcast television, I would say nearly everything is cut from Avid and Meeting Composer. There are still some people that I talk to that don't work on it, and I sometimes might want their help. Or why do you use this? Why do you use Avid? How are you getting work using Avid? Is what I often end up saying. But no, without using Meeting Composer, if I didn't use it, I would certainly not have the career I have now. I think it's important for young editors and everyone getting into the business in post to learn Avid, especially if you want to get into broadcast TV. It's definitely the tool that's used by everyone.